Hey guys, my name is Gabby, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be filming my March book haul, and in the month of March I've hauled 28 books. I'm hauling so many books. So the first three that I'm going to talk about are my Book of the Month picks for this month, and if you didn't know, I'm an ambassador for Book of the Month, so they send me 3 of their picks every month to promote on my social medias. First one I want to be talking about is Before She Knew Him by Peter Swanson. This is an adult thriller, and it basically follows, it's kind of hard to describe what this book is about, but I did read it this month. It was great. So it follows this girl who goes over to her neighbor's house, and she sees in her neighbor's house this trophy that was involved in this like murder scene, and then she starts to question whether or not her neighbor is like a murderer. And then it also follows from his point of view when he's like, oh my gosh, this girl's on to me. The next one I picked this month is The Municipalist by Seth Fried, and this one is an adventure sci-fi story about a human and an AI. The last one I picked is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid, because I know some of you are like, why would you pick that because you didn't even like it? But I picked this one because Taylor Jenkins Reid is my favorite author, and I still wanted to own the copy of her book because I just like absolutely love Taylor Jenkins Reid, and because I am planning on rereading this book listening to the audiobook instead, because people have said the audiobook is really great, and a lot of people have said if you didn't like the written format of the book because it's all written in interviews, then you might like the audiobook. So I think I'm gonna listen to the audiobook. But this is a historical fiction novel that follows the band Daisy Jones and the Six through all of their drama in the 1970s. The next ones I'm gonna show you are all from Berkeley. So the first one is Say You're Sorry by Karen Rose. This is a book that I did read this month. It's a romantic thriller that follows from the point of view of the serial killer who's currently killing people, and then the detective who's trying to find him, and then this girl who escaped from the serial killer that was like a victim of him. And yeah, it follows from their 3 point of views back and forth. Next one Berkeley sent is The Queen of Hearts by Kimmery Martin, and this one is described as like a hospital romance drama book. It's kind of like for fans of Grey's Anatomy, I guess, and this is one that I'm actually planning on reading really soon, probably before the end of the month. And then the last book that they sent is The Last Collection by Jean McKinn, and this one is an ARC. This one doesn't go on sale until June 25th. It takes place in Paris in 1938, and it's about an American woman becomes entangled in the intense rivalry between iconic fashion designers Coco Chanel and Elsa Schiaparelli. And along with that, they also sent this thing called Rocksbox Jewelry, which is like this thing that they're starting to do where you can like try out jewelry. Yeah, but if you go to rocksbox.com and you use the code myfictionalworldxoxo, myfictionalworld is the name of my Instagram, and then add XOXO on the end of it, you can get your first month for free. But it's basically like a trying out jewelry subscription service where you pay 21 bucks a month and they send you like 3 pieces of jewelry to try out, and then if you don't like it, then you just send them back for more jewelry and they send it your way, and it's free shipping both ways. It's like a really cute subscription service, so I mean, I'll put the link I guess down below if you want to check that out. Next 2 I have to show for you are from Scribner. So the first one is Stay Up with Hugo Best by Aaron Sommers. They did send me an ARC of this book earlier this year that I never got around to reading, but this is a final copy of it, and it follows this late night host, Hugo Best, and then this girl that I think is his like assistant or something that ends up like hanging out with him for a long period of time. And then the next one they sent is Ask Again Yes by Mary Beth Keane. This one is one of my most anticipated books of this year because I've just heard nothing but amazing things about this, and it kind of sounds like it's going to be like the next Little Fires Everywhere or something. A profoundly moving novel about 2 neighboring families in a suburban town, the bond between their children, a tragedy that reverberates over 4 decades, the daily intimacies of marriage, and the power of forgiveness. And then it follows 2 rookie cops in the NYPD living next door to each other outside of the city, and then it's kind of about like what happens behind closed doors. The description kind of sounds vague, but it does sound like it's going to be something like Little Fires Everywhere, and I don't know, I'm just really excited to read this. Like, I've just heard a lot of great things so far. Alright, so the next ones I have to show you all came from Penguin Random House, and they really came with the hookup this month. I got 8 books from Penguin Random House this month. Like, oh my gosh. Penguin Random House is amazing. So the first two that they sent came from Penguin Teen, and that is We Are Okay by Nina LaCour and Hold Still by Nina LaCour. This one, I have read We Are Okay. I read this one a couple of years ago. I just absolutely love this cover, but these are both young adult books that follow these girls that are, I want to say they both have female-female relationships in these. I know this one for sure has a female-female relationship, but I think this one is like maybe about friendship. Yeah, these covers are really freaking beautiful though. Like, I'm really digging these. And so maybe I'll have to read Hold Still really soon at some point this summer maybe. It's like a really short book. The next one that I got sent came from Penguin Random House, but I actually won this in the Goodreads giveaway, which I haven't won a book on a Goodreads giveaway in like years, like I don't know how long, but it was Normal People by Sally Rooney, and this is an arc that's coming out in April. I am planning on reading this one next month because I've heard so many great things about this book, but this one is a coming-of-age love story. I've been wanting to read Sally Rooney for such a long time now because everybody just highly recommends this book. I can't wait to read it. I'm planning on reading this one probably either before the end of this month or in April for sure. The next one that they sent is If Then by Kate Hope Day, and this one is like this sci-fi novel that's about these like families living in a suburban town that discover these parallel universes and like parallel realities, as it's about the choices we make that shape our lives and determine our destinies, the moments that alter us so profoundly that it feels as if we've entered another reality. And to be honest, this kind of sounds like something I would really enjoy because I love books that discuss like the possibility of parallel realities and books that discuss like how our everyday choices affect the rest of our lives and stuff. So I'm really excited to read this one. I'm planning on reading this one really soon as well. The next one they sent is All the Wrong Places by Joy Fielding. I really love this cover. I think it looks so cool. But this one is a thriller that follows these 4 women who are in online relationships, and they all find themselves in the crosshairs of a tech-savvy killer using an app to target his victims. So it's like, they're like online dating with this guy who's a serial killer. It's basically like all your horrors of online dating, I guess. So I'm actually really curious to read this one as well. It sounds like something I would really enjoy. Next one they sent is The River by Peter Heller. This one is a contemporary story. It follows these 2 boys, Win and Jack, who have been best friends since freshman orientation, and they both love the mountains and books and fishing. They both decide to canoe this river in northern Canada. So it says it's a gripping novel of a friendship tested by fire, white water, and violence. And I think it's like about how they come across a couple who's maybe like in an abusive relationship, and then like the woman goes missing, and then they're like trying to figure out what happened to them. And so it's kind of a mystery about it too, I feel like. I don't know, but this one is also one that I've been hearing nothing but good things about, so I'm actually really interested in reading this one as well. The next one Penguin Random House sent is Stalker by Lars Kepler, and this one is a detective story. It's about this detective Juno Lena who reunites with hypnotist Eric Maria Bark in a search for a seemingly unstoppable killer who is taunting the police. And this one takes place in Sweden, and I believe that this book was translated from Swedish to English. But yeah, it sounds really interesting. Like, I just love all of the thrillers. Like, I just want to read every single thriller that they send my way. Last one that they sent is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and this one has the Reese's Book Club sticker thing on it. And so yes, now I own 2 copies of Daisy Jones and the Six, and like, I didn't really plan for this to happen, but at the same time, it's also kind of great because Taylor Jenkins Reid is my favorite author, so it just adds to my collection because now I have the original and the Book of the Month copy. So hopefully, I just downloaded the audiobook from my library yesterday, so hopefully I can listen to it and fall in love with the story and then own 2 copies of it. That's my plan. Alright, the next one I got sent is from Flatiron Books, and that is I Know Who You Are by Alice Feeney. This one was an arc that goes on sale in late April next month. This is an adult thriller. I actually did a giveaway of this one on my Instagram, so you'll have to, if you don't follow me on Instagram, you'll have to follow my Instagram for the next giveaway I'll eventually do. An adult thriller, it's kind of hard to explain what this book is about without spoiling you, but to be very vague, it follows this actress who her husband goes missing and then $10,000 is taken out of their joint bank account, and they're trying to figure out what the hell happened to her husband and what the hell is all about this actress's childhood, and we get some flashbacks about her childhood and there's some crazy shit happening, and it was a very interesting read. I did read this month, so you'll hear more about it in my wrap-up. The next one came from Entangled Publishing, and that is The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros. This one is a romance novel that's kind of being compared to like Nicholas Sparks' romance books, but I've actually heard a lot of really great things about this one. It follows this sister of a soldier and then one of her brother's best friends who's also a soldier, and it's told through their letters of like her writing to her brother's best friend, and her brother dies in the war. Her brother told his best friend to take care of her in the event that he did die in the war, so then it's kind of about a romance brewing between the sister and the brother's best friend in the war. I don't know, like it sounds really beautiful, and I'm planning on reading this one really soon. Like it sounds like something I would enjoy. Next one came from Simon & Schuster, and that is 5 Feet Apart. It's a young adult contemporary novel. I actually just finished reading this one last night. It's about these two teenagers who are in a hospital, and she has CF and he has B. Superior? Sorry, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. He has something that's just a little bit worse than CF, basically, so they can't go within 6 feet of each other because they'll infect each other if they get too close to each other. So like this is definitely kind of like a forbidden romance because they're not allowed to be near each other. This one is also a movie that's in theaters now, and it stars Cole Sprouse and Haley Lou Richardson, and I really want to see the movie because this book was hella cute. The next one was sent to me by Kristen Dwyer, and this was from Montlake Romance, and this is Faking Forever by Catherine Bybee. It's about this girl who is a little bit older. She's really wanting a family, but her biological clock is ticking. She gets the opportunity to take her wedding photography business to Mexico, where she's gonna photograph this wedding, and then the bride goes AWOL, leaving her to deal with the arrogant fiance. And then it's kind of a romance between her and the dude that was the fiance of the bride who just left him. It sounds like something I would enjoy. I mean, I'm actually like looking forward to reading this one, so thanks, Kristen Dwyer. The next one I got sent is from Freeform and Disney Books, and that is The Everlasting Rose by Danielle Clayton. This one is a sequel to The Bells. That was like their first book that they came out with, and this one is like a young adult dystopian series. So the next 3 books all came from HMH Teen. First one is You Owe Me a Murder by Aline Cook. This is a young adult thriller. This is from the same author as With Malice, I believe that book was called, but she released that young adult thriller a couple years ago. I believe it was called With Malice. And yeah, this is her second novel. The next one that they sent is Voices by David Elliott, and this one is a novel that's like told in verse, but it's like very vague what it's about. It just says, who was Joan of Arc, warrior, witch, sinner, or saint? So I think this book is about Joan of Arc, but I don't know, it's super short, and this cover is actually really cool. Then the last one they sent is White Rose by Kip Wilson. White Rose retells the incredible true story of Sophie Scholl, a young activist who put her life on the line as she tried to rally her fellow Germans against a fascist regime. So that's pretty cool, I guess, that this is about a true story. This is also a novel that's told in verse, but wow, this cover is freaking beautiful. Like, I really do love that cover. Alright, the last 4 books that I have here are all books that I bought for myself. The first 2 books are ones that I got off of Amazon Canada because I got a refund on my If We Were Villains because it never freaking came in the mail, and so instead I got these 2 books for the same price of that one book. So the first one is Pines by Blake Crouch because he's one of my favorite authors because he wrote the book Dark Matter, and this is the book that inspired the show Wayward Pines, so I've always been really curious to read it, and this is a thriller. The next one is Jane Doe by Victoria Helen Stone, and this one is another thriller that I don't know too much about, but I've been hearing amazing things about this book, but it's like no one has any idea who Jane really is, least of all Stephen. But plain Jane is hiding something and Stephen's bringing out the worst in her. I don't know a ton about this book, obviously, but I don't like to know too much about thrillers before going into them, so really excited to read this one. I've heard so many great things, so I'm planning on reading this one very soon as well, probably in April. The last 2 that I bought for myself this month is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas and Six of Crows by Leah Bardugo, because I am not really a huge fantasy reader, but I was going to do an experimental video. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it anymore though. I don't know. I'm like very intimidated, but like my plan was to try to do an experimental video of reading some of the most popular fantasy books. And these two are definitely some of the more popular fantasy books out there. Not too sure if I'm gonna do it or not. So I have the books in case I do decide to do it. But I feel like especially lately, like I just have so much other stuff that I really want to read that I just haven't made time to do a video like that, because these are like lengthier books, because I just don't have the motivation to do it right now. But maybe this summer, I don't know. So those are all of the books that I hauled this March. I know, it was quite a bit. It was 28 books, and I am really excited though to read a lot of these, and a lot of these I have already read, so things are looking good. Have you read any of these books that I just mentioned? If you have, what are your thoughts on them, and which ones do you think that I should get to first? Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I will see you guys next time with a new video. Bye.